You're listening to CherryPickin Entertainment.
Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it.
You are now tuned into the CherryPickin podcast with your host, Andre Cherry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for downloading another episode of the CherryPickin podcast. Yes, it's me, your boy, Andre Cherry. I know it's been a minute since I've been on the podcast, Mike, and this has been a while since I've dropped a new episode, but I have been extremely busy in my personal and professional life, and I'm sorry that I left you guys neglected for these last several weeks, but I have been with you all in spirit, and I'm excited to be here today to talk a little bit about Week 11 college football, which I can't believe we're already in Week 11. November is rolling by here. We'll be in the Christmas holidays soon enough, but I have not seen any college football on YouTube TV. I'm a YouTube TV subscriber, so I haven't seen any ESPN or ABC content. I have seen Fox, though. So I have seen a few of those games on Fox, and I'm sure this is a big opportunity for the other networks to get more viewership, because I'm assuming YouTube TV, say that 3 times fast, YouTube TV probably dominates a large share of just the general viewership. A lot of people love YouTube just in general, and YouTube TV is just an extension of that. So I'm sure they've got a huge customer base. And this carrier dispute is crazy, because usually when you see stuff like this from time to time, it's like, don't let the ESPN coverage or whatever it may be, whatever network, like, don't let it lapse. Like, get in contact, let them know that you love watching our network on YouTube TV or on Direct TV or whatever the case may be, Comcast. And usually these disputes resolve themselves like within a few days, usually. I can't ever remember a dispute like this dragging on for like 2 weeks. And I don't know who's in the right or the wrong. I'm just saying it's crazy. I can't see any ABC, ESPN content. And at moments it's actually felt refreshing, to be honest. Like, I love sports. I would love to see college football and have it on and do the 4-screen of ESPN games on YouTube TV while I'm getting some errands done or doing some work or whatever the case may be. But I've been without that for like 2 weeks. I didn't even see the Eagles game last night, which is crazy. We watched like Married at First Sight on Hulu, I think it's on now. I didn't get a chance to watch any college football. I haven't seen any of the Monday Night Football games in a couple weeks. I don't know when this is going to end, but it's wild that this has been going on since October 30th. And I hope that there's resolution soon. But in that case, I guess I'll keep watching Fox programming. So they're getting a good bump in viewership, I'm assuming. I watched the Indiana versus Penn State game last week. I saw the end of that. That was crazy. I thought that Penn State would trap Indiana. It felt like it was going to be a trap game for the Hoosiers. And Indiana pulled it off. And you got to shout out Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver from Indiana, who caught a crazy pass in the back of the end zone. There was like 36 seconds left. He caught the pass from Fernando Mendoza. You know the name. I think Fernando Mendoza probably sealed his ticket to the Heisman ceremony, certainly, but he may be a Heisman winner based on that performance, to be able to come back against Penn State in a hostile environment at Beaver Stadium. And he pulled off the miraculous win. This team plays together. I'm so impressed by Indiana. It's crazy because it's Indiana. And the fact that they're number 2 in the country right now, they look like they could be a legitimate contender in the college football playoff discussion. Like, once this gets down and we get down to it, Indiana might go on a little run here. I'm not saying that they'll win the whole thing, but I'm not telling you that they can't win it all. You know what I mean? Like, Indiana looks a lot better than they did last year, and everybody loved them last year. They made it to the playoffs, and then they got quickly led out of the playoffs and beaten pretty badly last year. But this year, I think Indiana is a legitimate contender to push for the national championship, and that would be insane. And I think Mendoza sealed his ticket as the next Heisman winner, which is crazy. Indiana has never had a Heisman winner, so this is pretty remarkable, pretty special time for the Hoosiers and the Hoosiers faithful that Indiana is balling like this right now. And before I forget and we come off the YouTube TV topic, please make sure if you are a YouTube TV subscriber that you go into the app and you activate the $20 credit that YouTube TV is giving away to its users for this whole disruption. I know it's a small little thing, but $20, is something. Make sure you go in. You have to proactively go in and activate it, or else you will lose out on the $20 credit that they're offering. So it's a small little token, small little gesture, but I went in and did that yesterday. So I would advise you all to do the same. It's small, like I said, but hey, it's something, and it can help your bill on the next cycle. So just wanted to call that out. I'm not sure exactly when it expires or when that offer lapses, but do it right away. And in other news, did you hear this story about the Rose Bowl in the city of Pasadena filing a restraining order to keep UCLA from ending its lease at the Rose Bowl? This is crazy news. I just found out about this today on the ESPN machine, ESPN.com that is. The city of Pasadena, California, they're trying to file a preliminary injunction and temporary restraining order in LA County to keep UCLA from leaving the Rose Bowl stadium, or prevent them from leaving that stadium and ending its lease until pending litigation against the school is resolved. So UCLA, they play their home games at the Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl is such an historic site for college football. Some big games happen at the Rose Bowl, especially in the bowl season. It's one of the most premier locations for college football or college football events in all of sports, really. But UCLA plays its home games there, and it looks like they had a contract in place to remain at the Rose Bowl through 2043. So I would be an old man in 2043 by the time that contract expires. I don't know why UCLA is leaving. I can tell you, when you see those games on TV, it's like portions of the stadium feel like they're blacked out, or like they just don't get enough people in the Rose Bowl to make it a compelling watch for college football for UCLA. Like that Penn State game that they upset the Nittany Lions several weeks ago, it felt like the stadium was kind of empty. It wasn't a huge scene. And I know there's a lot of stuff to do in LA and California, so it's not necessarily a college football state or even city, Pasadena/LA. But it's pretty sad to see that they can't fill that stadium on a regular basis. I don't know if the rent is too high or whatever the case may be, the fees for UCLA to play there. I don't know what is driving this decision, but UCLA had been playing at the Rose Bowl since 1982. The program is actually trying to move its games to the newer SoFi Stadium, which is 14 miles closer to the school's campus and has a capacity of like 70,000, over 70,000 people can fit in that new SoFi Stadium. This season, the average attendance for the Bruins is roughly 39,000 people. So I don't understand why you want to go to a bigger stadium. Maybe there's better amenities or whatever the case may be, but you're going to have far fewer people watching your games in SoFi. Is that really the move you want to do? It's not even really, it's not a college football venue. So like, what is the thrill in that? I've seen some Temple games down here in Philly at the Link where the Eagles play, and that's also a pretty sad sight. They can't fill the whole stadium up. It doesn't really feel like a college football environment, and it's pretty sad. So like, why would you want to leave UCLA or leave the Rose Bowl? I get it that it's 14 miles closer, but it's not fun to be in SoFi Stadium. Like, that's not fun to me. I'd rather be in an historic site like the Rose Bowl. It's on the registry, the National Historic Landmark Registry. I'm sure it's beautiful. I just don't understand why you want to rush out to go to SoFi Stadium when you can't even fill the Rose Bowl, 1. And 2, it's just not the right environment in an NFL stadium for a college football game, in my opinion. So we'll see how that one shakes out. For me personally, I would love to go see a game at the Rose Bowl one of these days. It's on my bucket list. It'd be cool to see a UCLA game one of these days while they're there. But you got to do what you got to do, I guess, at the end of the day, is basically what UCLA is saying to the Rose Bowl and Pasadena. There's some big-time college football head coaching jobs that are open right now. I actually wasn't aware of all of the openings on the Power 4 level right now. Like, I didn't realize Billy Napier had been fired from Florida already. That I must have missed completely, which is crazy. But you already know about LSU. I just mentioned Florida, Penn State we knew about, Auburn, Arkansas, Stanford, UCLA, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State. I mean, some of these names on here are big-time schools for football. Like Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, Auburn, Penn State, Florida, LSU. I mean, whoever decides to put their name in the ring for some of these jobs, somebody's going to come up with a pretty nice opportunity here to play serious football or to coach serious football in the SEC. You got the ACC in here as well, and the Big 12. I mean, you've got some real jobs here. And I don't know if that gets any coaches excited for the possibility of coaching at one of these historic programs, or the possibility of being fired so that you get a huge buyout. Because some of these coaches are getting crazy paid right now. Brian Kelly, he's trying to fight his settlement offer right now. He's trying to get the full, I think, $53 million that's owed to him contractually. He's fighting that right now. James Franklin got like the second highest buyout in college football, I believe, this season as well. So it's wild, the amount of money that is put up for these college football coaches and the exit money that they get when they're fired. It's almost worth it to me to just go through hell. You know, you're a graduate assistant, then you're an assistant coach for a while. You're going to these random cities, these random towns on your path up to be a head college football coach. It's almost worth it to grind it out for like 6 years before you make it as a college football coach. Sure, you may have some success at a MAC school or, you know, a random AAC school, and then you make it big. You know, you go to the Big Ten or the SEC where you can really get paid. That would be my whole mission. Get this money, and then you can retire on a beach somewhere. Your whole family has generational wealth. And I know no coach will admit this, but it's got to be nice at the end of the day to get fired and you're getting some crazy CEO type money, I feel like. When CEOs get buyouts and whatnot, they're getting crazy settlements like that in like the tens of millions. So these guys are big dudes. Getting paid like this is crazy. And I'll be interested to see how they fill some of these jobs. I've heard Lane Kiffin's name thrown out there. I've heard Matt Rule's name thrown out there for the Penn State job. There's going to be some good seismic activity after the season ends for some of these coaches trying to fill some of these coveted positions at some of these historic schools. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But I can't recall a time where we've had this many vacancies for these big-time Power 4 schools. Who do you all think will get some of these jobs? Who do you think will get the LSU gig or the Penn State gig, which feels like a really, really hot job right now? So let me know. Tweet me or X me or whatever the case may be. But it's crazy what's happening right now in college football and kind of where we're at this point in the season, that there's so many vacancies available. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and dive right into my top 5 locks within the Power 4 conference. It's been a while. You can tell I'm a little rusty here. But we'll go ahead and kick it off in the ACC. I'm taking Louisville over Clemson. Louisville will host Clemson this weekend, and they'll look to break their losing streak over the Tigers. The Cardinals are 0-4 over Clemson, but I think this season the Cardinals finally get that first victory over Dabo Swinney and his Tigers. Louisville has looked good this season, currently ranked 15th with a 4-2 record in the ACC and a 7-2 record overall. Clemson has been inconsistent this year, and there have been serious doubts about whether Dabo Swinney is the man to continue leading Clemson into the future. With their 4-5 record, the Tigers are looking like the old Tigers from the past, where they were a near bottom feeder in the ACC. If we're being real with each other and we're being serious about who Clemson was before Dabo got there, Clemson was not a very consistent program. They really were not. Clemson did get a win against FSU last weekend, though, but that's not really saying much since Florida State is looking like a pretender this season as well. And side note, I had an opportunity to go to Florida State a few weeks ago. I was out there for a work visit, stopped by Doak Campbell Stadium. Beautiful stadium, beautiful little campus. I really enjoyed my little quick trip to Tallahassee, but I had to give a shout out to Florida State and the entire staff out there for treating me like a king. So I want to say what's up to FSU. Beautiful campus. It's a shame that they are not looking as good as we all thought they would be after they beat Alabama earlier this season, but that's college football. Anyways, back to it. This weekend, I like Louisville's chances in a game where they bounce back after their fluke loss to California a week ago, so I'm taking Louisville over Clemson in the ACC. In the Big 12, I'm taking Utah over Baylor. This is the third straight meeting between Utah and Baylor where the Utes have beaten the Bears the last 2 seasons. This year, Utah opens as a 7.5-point favorite in this game over Baylor, who is currently 1-3 in the last 3 weeks. The Utah offense has been potent this season and is posting close to 40 points per game, which is 8th best in all of FBS, if you knew that or not. I think Utah wins big over a Baylor defense that has allowed an average of close to 30 points these last 3 weeks. So I think Utah is catching Baylor at a good time for Utah, bad time for Baylor. So I'm taking Utah over Baylor in the Big 12. In the Big 10, I'm taking Illinois over Maryland. This is the third meeting between Illinois and Maryland where the Illini trail in this series, 1 win to 2 losses. I like Maryland's head coach, Mike Locksley, but he hasn't been able to get his team to respond this season. He's already in his 7th season in College Park, where last year the Terps posted a dismal 4-8 record. This season his squad started the season hot, 4-0, before dropping the next 5 games. I don't like their chances of getting back to a bowl game this season, and there are serious concerns if he will even retain his job after this season. I'm talking about head coach Mike Locksley. I like the guy, but it's not looking good. He's looking at his 3rd losing season in a row. Illinois, by comparison, is having a good season, all things considered. They will be favored in these next 3 games against Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern, and should close out Big Ten play with a 9-win season, which is very good work. This weekend, I do expect them to beat Maryland by double digits, so I'm taking Illinois over Maryland. And out of the SEC, I'm taking LSU over Arkansas. LSU didn't have much luck against Alabama in Week 10 during its interim head coach's debut. Frank Wilson, the head coach who I just mentioned there, he took over for Brian Kelly, who was fired a few weeks ago. In that loss, LSU was held out of the end zone for the first time since the 2012 National Championship game. The Tigers were also penalized 10 times and were held to 9 points in 4 red zone trips, so that's no bueno. Troubling stats all around, but I think LSU gets back on the winning track this weekend. LSU has found success over Arkansas these last several years, having gone 3-0 over the Razorbacks within the last 3 seasons. And last year, LSU beat Arkansas by a score of 34-10 and held the Razorbacks' ground game to only 38 yards rushing. So despite their head coaching woes this season, I see LSU beating Arkansas this week in Baton Rouge, so I'm taking LSU over Arkansas. And then out of the SEC, I'm taking Georgia over Texas. This weekend, Georgia ends its regular season SEC play against Texas, where they will be hosting the Longhorns for the first time ever in Athens. This is the 3rd meeting overall where the Dogs are currently 2-0. Georgia is currently in 3rd place in the SEC, and this game against Texas is crucial if they want to stay in the hunt for the SEC championship game. I do have to give some credit to Texas, though, for playing themselves back into the playoff discussion. A few weeks ago, I thought Texas were a bunch of bums, having started the season 3-2 after the first 5 weeks. But ever since their shocking loss to Florida on October 4th, Arch Manning has guided his team to 4 straight wins, including 2 wins against teams in the top 10. And no matter what you or my opinion is on Arch Manning, he has delivered down the stretch here. And I think that's so critical and so important to call out. Because in that win against Vandy, a team that had all of the momentum in college football, everybody loved Vanderbilt and that quarterback that's played so well. Manning actually threw for 328 yards in that game on 25 of 33 passing for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. That's impressive. This weekend, I do expect for the game to be close, but I give the slight edge to Georgia, where I believe its defense will have an answer for Manning and the Longhorns. So the Dogs win a close one in Athens. So I'm taking Georgia over Texas out of the SEC. Those were my top 5 picks out of the Power 4 conferences. Let me run those down for you one more time before we get out of here. In the ACC, I'm taking Louisville over Clemson. In the Big 12, I'm taking Utah over Baylor. In the Big 10, I'm taking Illinois over Maryland. Out of the SEC, I'm taking LSU over Arkansas. And out of the SEC, I'm taking Georgia over Texas. So there we have it, my friends. Those were my Week 11 picks. I can't believe we're already in Week 11. The end of the season is approaching. College football, it's starting to heat up. I mean, we got some interesting games as it comes down into, who's going to represent in these conference championship games. So the competition is fierce. The action is crazy. We're going to be in the postseason fairly soon here in a few weeks. And I'm so excited to see how the rest of the season plays out here. It's some exciting times. It's also some cold times. It's kind of chilly here in Philly. And it's just wild how fast the season has come and gone. But I love watching college football. Hope you all have enjoyed listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoy watching college football this weekend. And I cannot wait to talk to you in the near future here, my friends. Everybody take care. Have a good one. Have a good rest of your week. Enjoy watching college football on Saturday. I'll talk to you. Peace. Thank you again for tuning into my Cherry Pickin' podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe to my show and drop me a rating on Apple Podcasts. All of my digital content can be found at the website CherryPickinSports.com. And if you are looking to interact with me via social media, my Twitter handle is @Cherry_Pickin. That's PICKIN. On my Twitter, you'll also find a link to my blog where I post my weekly college football predictions and analysis. I can also be reached via email at cherrypickinsports@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to me regarding what you like about this podcast or about what content you'd like to hear more of on future episodes. I sincerely thank you for your support, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care.